Currently, Quinn Ewers is the 6th player to achieve the 24/7 Sports Composite 1.0000 ranking. During the 2010s, there were 3 players to achieve the same accomplishment. But who were they? This is part 2 of a 2-part video. If you are interested in watching the full video, I have left a link to part 1 and the full video in the description below. Rashawn Gary was born on December 3rd, 1997 and grew up in northern New Jersey. At age 11, Gary measured to be 6 feet and 240 pounds and was forced to play up in age division. His first Division I offer came from Rutgers as an 8th grader, and Gary started his high school football career at Scotch Plains Fanwood High School before he transferred to New Jersey powerhouse Paramus Catholic High School his junior year, when he moved from Scotch Plains, where he lived with his father, to Plainfield with his mother. Gary's original high school claimed that he was recruited by Paramus Catholic to transfer, which is against NJSIAA rules. The NJSIAA unanimously ruled that Scotch Plains had not proven the allegations. As a junior, Gary recorded 55 tackles and 14 sacks and was named New Jersey Defensive Player of the Year. As a senior, Gary recorded 55 tackles, 29 tackles for a loss, 4 forced fumbles, and returned a blocked punt for a touchdown in 9 games. Gary was once again named New Jersey Defensive Player of the Year, while also being named USA Today Defensive Player of the Year and a high school All-American. Gary finished his high school career playing in the Under Armour All-American game, where he recorded 6 tackles and 3 sacks, resulting in being named the MVP of the game. Coming out of high school, Gary was the #1 player in the country for his class of 2016. He finished as the most recent 1.0000 rated player according to 24/7 Sports Composite, and the 3rd player in the country to be unanimously named the #1 player by all 4 major recruiting networks: 24/7 Sports, ESPN, Rivals, and Scouts. The other 2 players were Robert Nkemdiche in 2013 and Jadeveon Clowney in 2011. I will be talking about those players later in this video. According to Scouts Mike Olson, no high school player is ever a can't-miss prospect, but Gary comes as close to that as a defensive lineman can. Gary received over 30 different Division I offers from the who's who of college football. Many believed Gary's decision came down between Michigan and Clemson. Michigan had hired Chris Patridge, a former high school coach at Gary's, as the director of player personnel and recruiting, later promoting him to the linebacker and special teams coach in January of 2016. After taking visits to Auburn, Clemson, Michigan, Ole Miss, and USC, Gary decided to commit to the Wolverines. After Gary returned to the green room, his mother whispered just loud enough for USA Today Network New Jersey columnist Darren Cooper to hear, "We did it. We did it. My son is a Michigan man." Gary played in all 13 games as a freshman, recording 27 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss, and 1 sack. As a sophomore, Gary started all 13 of Michigan's games, recording 66 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, and 6 sacks. He earned all Big Ten honors as well as academic all Big Ten honors and the recipient of the Richard Katcher Award, which is given to the most outstanding Michigan defensive lineman or outside linebacker. Going into Gary's junior year, there were high expectations for the New Jersey product, being named AP preseason second-team All-American and named to several award watch lists. Unfortunately, Gary dealt with a shoulder injury that caused him to see limited time in September and miss all of October. He finished the season recording 38 tackles, 6.5 tackles for a loss, and 3 sacks in 9 games, which was good enough to be named All Big Ten first team. After the season, Gary declared for the NFL draft and was projected to be a top 10 pick. Gary started his own sports agency and was drafted 12th overall by the Green Bay Packers. In 2 seasons, Gary has recorded 56 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 7 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 11 quarterback hits in 31 career regular season games. Robert Nkemdiche was born on September 19, 1994, and grew up in the Atlanta, Georgia area. His brother Denzel played linebacker at Ole Miss. This will become relevant later in the story. Nkemdiche attended Grayson High School, which is east of Atlanta. While at Grayson, Robert would be a 3-sport athlete playing football and basketball while also competing on the track and field team. While competing for the track team as a junior, Robert earned 2nd place for shot put and discus at the Gwinnett County Track and Field Championship. As a sophomore, Nkemdiche was named the Sophomore All-American, recording 19 sacks. Nkemdiche played running back on offense and defensive end on defense. As a junior, he rushed for 528 yards and 17 touchdowns while recording 59 tackles and 18 sacks. He would be a key player, helping Grayson go 15-0, winning the Class 5A state title game while finishing 4th nationally by the USA Today. Nkemdiche was named the All-Class Player of the Year, Gwinnett Daily Post County Defensive Player of the Year, and Touchdown Club of Gwinnett Athlete of the Year, along with being named an All-American by USA Today. As a senior, Nkemdiche recorded 59 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, and 7 sacks, while rushing for 235 yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground. Early in the season, Nkemdiche and Grayson played Miami Central, which was led by Dalvin Cook, beating them 35-3 on ESPN. Grayson would go on to win the Region 8 6A championship before they would be upset in the second round of the playoffs, finishing the season 10-2. Nkemdiche was named an Under Armour, USA Today, Max Prep, and Super Prep All-American selection and finished his high school career with 41 career sacks. According to 24/7 Sports Composite, Nkemdiche was the #1 player in the nation with a 1.0000 rating. He received over 14 Division I offers from the likes of Alabama, Clemson, Florida, LSU, and Ole Miss. Robert Nkemdiche originally committed to Clemson, and it looked like he was going to be joining a handful of Grayson teammates in Death Valley. Like I mentioned earlier, Nkemdiche's older brother played linebacker and safety at Ole Miss. It originally looked like Denzel was going to flame out at Ole Miss, which according to SB Nation, he came really close to doing. Robert's mother wanted her sons playing together in college. One rival SEC recruiter came out and said, once it was clear that the brother wasn't transferring out, the race was really over. Newly hired head coach Hugh Freeze had one job according to Nkemdiche's mom: show improvement and keep her boys together. As a result, Nkemdiche committed to play football at Ole Miss in the class that included Laramie Tunsil and Laquan Treadwell. The what-if situation that people are thinking about is, what if Robert Nkemdiche was on the defensive line for Clemson during the 2016 National Championship game? Nkemdiche became an impact player immediately as a freshman, playing in 11 games and making 10 starts. He missed the LSU and Idaho game with a strained hamstring and finished the season recording 34 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, 2 pass breakups, and 3 quarterback hurries, while also rushing the ball 5 times for 32 yards. He was named a freshman All-American and to the SEC All-Freshman team. As a sophomore, Nkemdiche started every game for Ole Miss at defensive tackle, recording 35 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 2 sacks, and a pass breakup. Ole Miss defense led the nation in scoring defense and led the SEC in tackles for a loss. Nkemdiche was named second-team All-American by multiple media outlets and All-SEC first team. As a junior, Nkemdiche started 11 games for Ole Miss, recording 26 tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and 1 pass deflection, while also having 2 rushing touchdowns. Nkemdiche finished the season becoming the first defensive lineman to be a finalist for the Hornung Award, which goes to the nation's most versatile player, along with first-team All-American and All-SEC first team. His career would end on a sour note, though, being suspended for the Sugar Bowl. Some NFL teams had concerns around Nkemdiche's family, along with some other things, but he would be taken 29th overall in the 2016 NFL Draft. Nkemdiche has not been able to get a footing in the NFL, dealing with some injuries. He played with the Cardinals from 2016 to 2019, being waived on July 28, 2019. The Dolphins would sign him on August 8th that year before releasing him on November 5th, 2019. Most recently, he signed with the Seattle Seahawks on April 29th of this year. Jadeveon Clowney was born on February 14, 1993, and grew up in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Everyone knew Clowney was going to be a special player from a young age. When Clowney was 8 years old, he towered over the kids his same age on the Pee Wee fields. Clowney played defensive end, linebacker, and running back that season. His future high school coach recalled a time Clowney ran the ball for 30 yards, dragging another player on his back. By the time he reached the end zone, there were 4 other players hanging on him. Clowney was held out of hitting drills, with coaches afraid he was going to kill someone. Stephon Gilmore, who is 2 years older, recalls watching Clowney play Pop Warner, saying, "When he played small fry, no one wanted to tackle him. Then he'd come up there and practice with us, and no one wanted to tackle him either." Clowney was supposed to attend Northwest High School in Rock Hill, but there were some changes in school zones, which led to him playing for South Point. When Clowney was a freshman, he scored 30 touchdowns at running back and played defensive line during passing situations. Head coach Bobby Carroll believed Clowney's future was on defense. At first, Clowney did not like that idea and was going to quit football. Carroll didn't flinch and continued lobbying for him to make the change. Clowney reluctantly agreed, which he now believes was the best decision of his life. Ellis Johnson, who was working at South Carolina at the time, had come to scout Stephon Gilmore. Before Johnson left, Carroll told him about Clowney, who was a freshman at the time. Johnson couldn't believe that Clowney was a freshman and wrote down his name, underlining it a handful of times. When he was a sophomore, he impressed teammates with his athleticism, and Gilmore talked about a time Clowney caught him from behind in practice. Clowney recorded 120 tackles and 20 sacks that season as a sophomore, while South Point went 15-0, winning the 4A Division II title, beating rival Northwest High at Memorial Stadium, where Clemson plays, 35-14, and finishing number 3 in the nation according to Max Preps. Clowney played most of that season with a bone spur injury on his foot as well. As a junior, Clowney recorded 144 tackles and 23 sacks as South Point went 10-4. As a senior, Clowney recorded 162 tackles, 29.5 sacks, 29 tackles for a loss, 11 forced fumbles, and 6 fumble recoveries, while scoring 5 touchdowns on defense. He also rushed for 277 yards and 9 touchdowns on 32 carries at running back. He helped guide South Point to a 13-2 record, finishing as the state runner-ups. Clowney was named Defensive Player of the Year by USA Today and Mr. Football in the state of South Carolina. Coming out of high school, Clowney had offers from nearly every BCS powerhouse. He was the best player in his class, receiving the 1.0000 rating, and to many, Clowney was the best high school recruit ever. Tom Luginbill told The Athletic, "I've been doing this for 16 years, and if you're just going on pure talent, he's number one. If you mix measurables, height, weight, speed, agility, blah blah blah, with ability level, I think he's clear-cut number one of all the guys we have done." Rather than verbally committing somewhere, Clowney decided to make his college decision live on ESPN on National Signing Day, which also happened to be his birthday. Clowney became the 3rd straight South Carolina Mr. Football to choose South Carolina, picking the Gamecocks over Alabama, Clemson, Florida State, and LSU. Clowney wanted to play in the SEC, and he actually had made his decision a week beforehand, but didn't tell anybody. A few days before his decision, there was a New York Times article questioning whether he was going to academically qualify, but Clowney said he had no concerns about that. He also ran track, threw, and played basketball in high school. As a freshman, Clowney became the first freshman to start on the defensive line since Travion Robertson in 2007. Clowney finished his freshman season recording 36 tackles, 12 tackles for a loss, 8 sacks, and 5 forced fumbles. He was named SEC Freshman of the Year, All-SEC Second Team, and Freshman All-American by multiple media outlets. Clowney proved to be the best defensive player in college football, recording 54 tackles, 23.5 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles, and a school record 13 sacks. He recorded 4.5 sacks on Taj Boyd in the rivalry game against Clemson, and became famous on a massive hit on the Michigan running back during the Outback Bowl. Clowney was named the unanimous All-American and won the Ted Hendricks Award while finishing 6th in Heisman voting. After the season, he was named 2012 AT&T All-American Player of the Year. Going into his junior year, Clowney was the favorite to win the Heisman, but he was plagued with minor injuries throughout the beginning of the season, causing him to have a slow start to the season. Clowney finished a slightly disappointing season with 39 tackles, 11.5 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. He was named to the All-SEC team, and after the season decided to enter the NFL draft, where he was drafted 1st overall by the Houston Texans. Throughout his NFL career, Clowney has been plagued with injuries, playing only 1 full season in his career in 7 seasons. He's recorded 32 sacks and 86 quarterback hits in his career in 83 regular season games, playing for the Texans, Seahawks, Titans, and most recently signing with the Cleveland Browns. Looking at the past 5 1.0000 rated high school prospects, Quinn Ewers will have a strong college career if history repeats itself, but will look to break the NFL struggles post-college. But what do you think? Who is your favorite 1.0000 rated college prospect over the past 20 years? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, check out my other videos in the Who Is series. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 5K subscribers by the end of June, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.